like we all in the same gang. You know what I mean? That was a wow. Wow. This like Bloods and Crips banging on wax. Shout out to all of the subscribers and members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters and I'm troubled. And as much as it pains me to admit this, I have to keep it 1,000 because I'm not Maga and admit that Trump is in fact bringing America together. One of the things he said he would do is that he would heal this country and he would bring the left and the right together. And he has in fact done that in disgust. Huh? Well, he never said it was going to be in peace or love or patriotism. He got people from all sides calling for the release of them files. Now, you knew the Democrats were going to come in hot.
It's interesting to hear the right explain why it is that they want to hear. I want to hear because clearly you got something to hide, Mr. President. So that's why I want to hear. I want the swamp, right, to be drained, okay? Listen, let me use their language. We know that he had this ongoing relationship with Epstein. They were basically like besties. We know that there are allegations that a lot of the recruitment took place down at Mar-a-Lago. We know that there are even young ladies that said that they were abused and or assaulted. We know that this is someone who has been found liable of abuse by a jury of his peers. So, I mean, this is also a guy who seemingly doesn't really necessarily care if somebody engages in these types of activities. So I know he's got something to hide. That's the only reason it's not out there. If this had anything to do with Democrats, baby, it would have been on day one. That promise would have been fulfilled. But he wanted access to those files and he wanted to see how bad it looked for him. And unfortunately, after having a glimpse, I think he's decided that he just wants to move on and talk about something else.
So I just want to be clear. By the way, I have no idea. Everything you recited there is true, including the allegation you said there's a woman of age, I should note, who talked about being introduced to Trump by Jeffrey Epstein and then being groped by Trump against, non-consensually. That was reported out, talked to the press and the Guardian. So I want to be clear about that. She was of age. She was, I think, 23 at the time. She was a model. So all those things that you listed there are facts, their association. Him being found liable of what was the term they used? Assault, I guess, in that jury. Allegations against him, of course. All of that's established. Well, what you're saying is you think there actually is something. I mean, I have no idea. You think there's something in the file that incriminates him.
Chris Hayes, as I outlined in part one, and this was perfectly stated, middle-aged riot. Face it, MAGA, if your president's name weren't all over the Jeffrey files, they would have been released unredacted, printed, and bound in $500 special editions, signed by Trump, recorded as an audiobook by James Woods and Mel Gibson, and tattooed on Lauren Boebert's ass. You don't think he would blast this from the rooftops if there wasn't? He would get this put in the Trump Bibles. If there wasn't. Are you kidding me? Who gets accused of something like this, shakes their whole support foundation, has the evidence, the exonerating evidence, and doesn't put it out? Who does it? I heard you was at Jiggles yesterday. Who told you that? I wasn't. Matter of fact, I got my time card with me in my car right now because it was payday. I could prove I wasn't there. Huh? You want me to show you? No, because I don't like your tone. Who does that?
What you're saying is you think there actually is something. I mean, I have no idea. You think there's something in the file that incriminates him.
I do. Listen, this guy isn't above board. I mean, I think you're kidding yourself if you believe that he is. So, no, I absolutely believe that if he thought for just 2 seconds he could hurt anybody but himself, then absolutely we would have the files. And so it does look a little murky. I think it is why the Democrats are all on board because, this is a guy who has made his own admissions. If you remember the tape where he talked about women, right? So, honestly, I think that his loyal list will stay with him regardless. This is a guy who said he could go out and somebody and they would still be with him. So I'm sure they would come up with an excuse for why it's okay for him to maybe be involved in the Epstein files. But they want to know about everybody else. They believe that there's so many Democrats that are in this, and that's why it is that they want to see it. But it's interesting, while they are taking away health care, while they are taking away farmers' access to be able to do what they do, which is to make money, while they are getting rid of people's food access, and while inflation is on the rise, and while this tariff war is not reducing anybody's prices for anything, it's amazing that this is the thing that has stirred them up. But I'm going to let them stir. Stir, stir, stir.
Now, Jasmine Crockett would hit the nail on the head. That is a point I've made several times. It's crazy that this is what got you here, Maga. It is wild. After all, he told you that he was selling wolf tickets on taking down prices before he even took office. Y'all didn't blink. I mean, the fact that this is what got you here is crazy. But I am absolutely here for the drama. Now, that's not to say that there aren't those in the MAGA base who are still trying to carry the president's water, and it looks particularly nasty today.
I believe Trump's in the Epstein files insofar as he was friends with Epstein for 15 years. He knew Epstein. And there are people who hate Trump who probably threw some scurrilous allegations in there. But nobody believes Trump had an affinity for the underage girl. That's just such bullshit. Maybe he was at some Epstein party. Trump says he never went to Epstein Island, and I believe that too. That would be something to extraordinarily lie about.
Megyn Kelly, I could just go back to a clip of what we just heard.
She does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Okay, Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
If I weren't happily married and, her father.
My daughter, Ivanka.
Yeah.
She's 6 feet tall. She's got the best body.
By the way, your daughter.
She's beautiful.
Can I say this? A piece of ass. Yeah. She looks more voluptuous than ever.
She's actually always been very voluptuous. She's tall. She's almost 6 feet.
You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Verified information about Donald Trump. But you are the same person who tried to put a lipstick on this entire sexist administration and saying, why don't y'all clean it up for the election so you can get into office and do all of your damage. That's who we're hearing from right now. Still trying to carry the president's water about this. Trying to convince us that, yeah, I believe he's in it because they were friends, but certainly he never would have done anything untoward. I mean, it's not like he got cases or anything. It's not like we have video of him.
I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
But wait, there's more.
Hey, did you hear that the Wall Street Journal just reviewed a book that Jeffrey Epstein's friends made for him on his 50th birthday? It's full of bodied letters from his friends, and one of the letters in there is from Donald Trump. Trump's signature is on it, and it's a typewritten note that is in the outline of an unclothed woman. So the note is a dialogue that Trump came up with between him and Epstein, and it's told in the third person. Here's how it goes. So Trump begins this dramatically, and I'm critiquing this as a writer myself, and he begins with a voiceover. The voiceover muses, there must be more to life than having everything. Then Donald Trump has himself saying, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Then Trump has Jeffrey Epstein say back, nor will I, since I already know. Then Donald Trump has himself saying back to Jeffrey Epstein, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Then Trump has Jeffrey Epstein saying back, yes, we do, come to think of it. Then Trump has himself answering back to Epstein saying, enigmas never age, come to think of it. So, are enigmas codename for underage minors? Then Trump has Epstein say back, "As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you." Then Trump ends his personal note to Jeffrey Epstein by saying, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. And may every day be another wonderful secret." Of course, Maga is absolutely losing their mind over this. Trump has already said he's going to sue Wall Street Journal. He's calling for the Wall Street Journal's editor to be fired. It's like a whole thing. But the writer in me, delighted by the bad writing. Good job, Donald. You really wrote some good body stuff.
And by the way, if you're wondering whether Megyn Kelly happens to be either one of the most naive or one of the most evil people in our media landscape, look no further than her treatment of Chelsea Clinton, who was trying to get help to folks down in Texas. When Chelsea responded, "Hi, Megyn, I'm sure any of the organizations I mentioned, which are on the ground in Texas, would welcome your support. I would be happy to put you in touch directly. We all need to support those impacted by the tragic floods," responded Chelsea. "What we are seeing in the replies to your posts is that while you love to play fake philanthropist, absolutely no one wants your family of grifters anywhere near those suffering in Texas, Haiti, or anywhere else." See, it's real hard to play the naive game, "I believe in him," when that's how you're moving when people are suffering from a natural disaster. And so if we don't have naivete, we have you being part of a pretty nasty cover-up, and you have indicted yourself by virtue of your own behavior. Sorry. Them's the breaks. Now, that's not to say that you're not going to find any number of other people that you can blame for this to try and protect Trump. And they just wouldn't happen to be women, would they?
Let me just ask you, make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
Raise your hand if it matters a lot to you. Raise your hand. So every hand of 7,000 people.
Everybody cares.
All right. Y'all saw that. Now what you gonna do with it?
Here's what I think is happening. I don't think President Trump is focused on this. He's focused on a lot of other things which are going great, and he needs to be focused on those other things. Jeffrey Epstein's not the most important thing on his agenda by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, he's crushing it on the tariffs, foreign policy, just got nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. If not Trump, then who? Honestly. Barack Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize after 9 months in office. He had done nothing. He gave a nice speech about Muslims and they gave it to him. So President Trump should be getting the Nobel Peace Prize, and there's all sorts of things he's focused on. I just don't think this has captured his attention quite yet. But it needs to, because it's starting to create a real hornet's nest within the administration. And I've got to be honest, I blame Pam Bondi.
Ah, yes, notorious, independent, rogue agent Pam Bondi. Yeah, I'm sure she's just out here wheeling and dealing on her own and barely communicating with the administration. But this will get even more ridiculous because you can find more people to blame too. Hey, Megyn Kelly, when it comes to deflection, I think you got more in you. You tried to slut shame Kamala Harris after talking about how that dogged you at Fox News, and you haven't been able to run away from it. They was talking about Brit Hume and everything. Gave people all sort of mental images that kept them up nights. You did that. So if you can deflect from your own experiences, you got more in you. I know you do.
Laura Ingraham go on her show on Fox News on last night being like, oh, well, after there was the pile-on at Charlie Kirk's Turning Point event, where all this Republican infighting, and then kind of suggested she's moving on from Epstein. Okay, she was part of it. I like Laura, but she 100% stood up there and fanned this flame. I 100% talked about Pam Bondi and Epstein. I was on the receiving end of a Q&A. Charlie Kirk was asking those questions. This was not Megyn Kelly's choice for the questions of the evening. The interviewer sets the tone and chooses the subject, with which I was 100% fine and remain fine. But let's not pretend that, some of the president's most loyal advocates aren't very, very interested in Epstein. They are, all right? However, Some in the media let their loyalty to the president trump their journalistic obligation.
Oh, we coming for Laura Ingraham. Pack Laura Ingraham up. Ooh, I've been waiting to pack Laura Ingraham. I didn't know how good this could be.
The network where I actually started my TV career wouldn't ever hire anyone like me now.
I had no idea how good this could be. Ooh, please pack Laura Ingraham. Matter of fact, I'll do it. Whenever we ready to go get her stuff, I will fly out. Were they in New York? I will fly out there with with a whole roll of Glad bag. I will pack her up myself. Woo!
Look, Ben, you can't come to me and say, everybody I know says he himself. And then I respond saying, I actually have my own sources who say he didn't. And then you say, well, your sources are not valid because they won't put their names on it. Okay, who are your sources? Let's go down the list and then we'll talk about why they might be saying that.
My sources are the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, Kash Patel, the head of the FBI, Dan Bongino, the Deputy Head of the FBI, and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General. And those aren't just my sources. They're everybody's sources because they publicly came out and said this.
Okay, Trump hasn't specifically weighed in on that specific aspect of it. We've all seen the limited things that Trump has said and tweeted on this. And J.D. Vance was calling for transparency and suggesting otherwise prior to taking office. He hasn't commented on this so far, so he's not one of your sources.
Ask him. He's the vice
you've
president.
You've got Kash, you've got
asked.
Dan, and you've got Pam, and we've already discussed that memo in full detail. I'm talking about people behind the scenes who, prior to Trump taking office, I'm not going to get too specific, but trust me, I have high-level sources who have said they don't believe any of that. Yes,
and when it comes to the dying embers of Trump's MAGA protection, the absolute saddest log was Mark Wayne Mullen. He was the saddest. You saw he tried to come for AOC, who said, wow, who would have thought that electing that kind of a person would have complicated the release of the Jeffrey files, to which he says, why didn't you guys release the Jeffrey files over the last 4 years? Maybe you were too busy covering for Joe Biden, or could it have something to do with another former Democrat president? Solid. That is solid that you are connecting the dots back to Trump himself talking about it in 2015.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
Well done there. As far as covering for Joe Biden, which way y'all want to act like the man was weekend at Bernie's. Now all of a sudden he was flying around to back and forth. Come on, man. But like, really? That's what you wanted? But you know what? I'm glad that you have highlighted your struggles with time and how time works. We've already saw this with Bill O'Reilly.
He was arrested in 2019 and he committed suicide in 2019. He died August 10th of 2019. So the Biden administration was not involved in a conviction or a trial of him. They were of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Okay. And that's a good point of clarification. But he was arrested and indicted under Merrick Garland.
No, under Trump.
Who had all of the information.
Epstein was arrested, indicted, and committed under Trump. In 2019, Trump was president. Merrick Garland was not the attorney general.
Okay, I stand corrected. So 19, that came in the first Trump administration, correct?
Yeah, and Bill Barr was the attorney general. Bill Barr was the guy who ordered the investigation into the suspected suicide.
Right. But then for 4 years, did you hear Hakeem Jeffries say, I want to know all the things that happened?
No, but I heard, hold on, but I heard, maybe we're onto something here, because I heard Donald Trump say that.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Sensational thread by Ad Girl MM. If Trump was on the list, why didn't the Democrats release it? 2 court cases were filed and later dropped in 2016 by a woman who accused Trump and Jeffrey from back in 1994 when she was 13. This was common knowledge to everyone paying attention. You should all read the legal documents. Jeffrey was not arrested until July 2019. Trump was president then. Why didn't he release the files? The first time he was arrested in 2005, he was given the deal of the century negotiated by a powerful dream team of lawyers, including Trump friend and lawyer Alan Dershowitz, who was mistakenly accused by one of the victims. The man who approved that deal was Trump's labor secretary and former U.S. attorney Alex Acosta. In August 2019, 44 lawmakers led by House Democrats asked for hearings into the questionable handling of that case. Like Pam Bondi, Trump defended Acosta and said he was a really, really great Secretary of Labor. He then resigned. If between 2020 and 24, Joe Biden was even aware that there was a list and that Trump was on that list, he would not have touched it nor released it, because that's the kind of man Joe Biden is. He respects the presidency, our institutions, and he respects the independence of the DOJ. And while, like all of us, he may despise Trump, he wouldn't use his presidential power to destroy him. And that's where we are. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Now, what Joe Biden would or wouldn't have done is definitely up for debate. I tend to agree that probably is what he would have done. Whether that was the right thing to do, I would break from him on that. I think respect for the institutions would compel you to step in if that was something that you were aware of. But again, let's go back to the point of exoneration. Is this something that is exonerating, and why would you keep it quiet if in fact it was? And another thing that I support that the Democrats have been pushing and trying to air all of this out, you see exactly who the Megyn Kellys are.
I talked about the Epstein files under the Biden administration. I'm talking about it now during the Trump administration. And it's because it's not just Trump's base. It should be the American people, and it is American people, because this is at core about aged women being assaulted and abused, and this should not be covered up. And, you know, I saw your clip of all the Republicans in the House that you showed saying they should release these files. Well, guess what? House Republicans are in the majority. They can issue a subpoena tomorrow to get those Epstein files. And if they don't do that, then they, House Republicans, are facilitating this cover-up.
And you know what? That's exactly what they're doing.
Republicans are showing you in real time who the they are, and that they could never again in their motherfucking miserable ass lives say that they are the pro-life, that they are the pro-birth, that they are the pro-children, that they are the pro-family party. They can't say that anymore. You know why? Because literally right now, Democrats put forth an amendment that would have forced Donald Trump to release the Epstein files. And you know what this cockeyed just did? This cockeyed just, as a chairwoman of the House and Rules Committee, decided to take all her Republicans and vote against the fucking measurement.
Brian Baez, why you use that photo? Why you, come on, dog. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Now I'm struggling with my focus. You know what I mean? Like, Brian, you know what I mean? But your point was well taken. Your point was well taken. Well, here's the thing, and here's why this video, the way that I came out, I talked about Trump bringing the country together. You know, it's like it's like the pandemic where nature was healing. It's almost like Congress is healing.
It's really remarkable. He's been texting me all day. We got Boebert. We got Marjorie Taylor Greene. We have up to 7 Republicans now. When I've worked with Thomas Massie before, it's been on war powers resolution. We're both very passionate that presidents have to come to Congress before taking strikes overseas. We did it to stop the war in Iran. We got exactly 1 Republican, Thomas Massie. And now we have 7. And it shows that this is a real fracture in the Republican base.
Now, this is Ro Khanna talking about a bipartisan effort to get the files released. Did he say they had Marjorie Taylor Greene? I mean, I know that she had spoke out previously, but she really signed that paper? I am proudly co-sponsoring and will sign the discharge petition. I will never protect PDFs or the elites and their circles. It's like we all in the same gang. You know what I mean? That was a wow. Wow. This like Bloods and Crips banging on wax. Right here. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I wonder what made her that mad.
What did he do to make them that mad?
This is a departure from what we voted for, to see the president announce that he wants to sell American military weapons to NATO, and then NATO give these weapons to Ukraine. And there's some important things to talk about there, Alex. Number one, Ukraine is not a member of NATO. So there's no reason for NATO to be defending Ukraine.
This from Mother Jones. Let's count all the ways Marjorie Taylor Greene is angry with President Trump. She has compared him to Jesus Christ. Oh, that's how we're going to start? That's how we're going to start. Now, okay, I don't know what her concept of Jesus Christ is. Before I go crazy, I don't know what she could be talking about the actor that played Jesus Christ Superstar. We need to delve into that. I think she's just talking about the long-haired dude that played on her daughter's high school football team. She has repeatedly and falsely claimed that the 2020 election was stolen. She reportedly wanted to be Trump's VP, claiming to The Guardian that her name was on a list of potential contenders before J.D. Vance was ultimately crowned the winner. I love that I was on the list. How long was the list? You mean the list of congressmen? You mean the list of DC residents? Is that the list you was on? But lately, Greene appears to be breaking with Trump on several key fronts. His decision to launch strikes on Iran, his renewed support for Ukraine, and now the Department of Justice's and FBI's conclusion regarding the Jeffrey files. Together, against the backdrop of mounting anger within MAGA's ranks, Greene's increasingly outspoken words underscore just how much the president has alienated some of his most loyal supporters through a slate of consequential decisions made over the last few weeks. Wow, 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 wow. So this has been growing, and this is another opportunity to, okay, that's crazy. They got 7 Republicans to break with they even got Boebert. Although Boebert doesn't impress me as much, because if you ask her after 1 a.m., 2 a.m., she probably signed whatever. You know what I mean? That's why I'm surprised her name not on more legislation. And honestly, if you go to her at the right time, you probably get that sign. Marjorie Taylor Greene out here moving foul with MAGA, joining ranks, joining the likes of Alex Jones.
Steve Bannon came out last night and said that Trump has to release everything. And Bannon went on to say that if this scandal continues, and I totally agree, that they could lose 40 seats in the House of Representatives, the midterms, in less than a year and a half. I mean, this is taking defeat from the jaws of victory here. This is a self-inflicted one. This is like watching Trump cut his fingers off or something. I mean, this is just not fun. And I need Trump to succeed. The Democrats want to put me in prison.
And Charlie Kirk.
So what's it going to be, Charlie Kirk?
Can we pan to the audience? I'm curious. How many of you, raise your hand, think this is a big deal, the Epstein thing? Would you raise your hand? So, I mean, every hand has gone up.
Calling for the release. Not to mention Thomas Massie and Lauren Boebert and everybody else that signed up for it. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. I wonder who's going to be the spokesperson for the group. I nominate Crockett. Yeah, I nominate Crockett. Well, she did her thing off top. Now, we got to be honest. How much can we trust these members? You know, because we saw what just happened with Virginia Foxx and them. Marjorie Taylor Greene voted against releasing the Jeffrey files. She has no intention of doing anything to get the files released, but Marjorie Taylor Greene will tweet anything she believes Trump supporters want to hear. Hey, if it caused him to stay up nights, I'm with it. We can all unite behind that. Throw your flags up. Yeah, that's right. We want to see them files. We got red and blue. We want to see them. We want to see them fouls. Matter of fact, go get Maureen Bowman. Go get Maureen Bowman. Go get Maureen Bowman. She can stand with Jasmine Crockett. Let them fight. Thank you so much for watching the video. Sending love out to all of the subscribers and members, and a special shout out to all those that came out to the 500K live celebration, as well as the Tuesday special viewers edition of the Tuesday Night Live. You got on draws. Like, what? You got on draws. Chaps doesn't make it not draws. Now, I mentioned it was a special viewers edition because one thing I've noticed, we have so much talent in this community. So many people with so many amazing thoughts, so many people with so many amazing achievements, organizational skills. You guys are doing some incredible things. So if you're working on a project, you're working on something, you're working with a group you think might be of interest to the community, I would love to highlight you on my live. Every few weeks, I'm going to dedicate the live to that. So if you're interested in being highlighted, send me a note at admin@reeswaters.com. By the way, did you guys happen to get the last newsletter? Because, oh yeah, we are cooking over there. We talked all about what's going on with Essence Fest, as well as the Fox News meltdown on woke Superman. You know, some of those bylines by Clark Kent were kind of CRT. Now that I think about it, they were kind of CRT. And we ended on a positive with Ironheart finally being certified fresh. You know, like I was back in the 90s. Yeah, I was a wild boy. You know what I mean? I was a wild boy. We put out the newsletter every single week. If you want to sign up for it, you can do it over at my Patreon, patreon.com/ReesWaters. It's available in the deep water and troubled water tiers. We also have a free monthly newsletter that we put out. You sign up at the same place. You can get a free account and you can get our monthly newsletter right there.
Finger licking good special. That's what I'm talking about.
Speaking of monthly, I need to pay that electricity bill. Yeah, it ain't no joke. Ever since we've been running this AC on high all winter, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Hopefully my wife don't see this.